Love the Eagles as much as we do? Then hit that subscribe button and stick with us at Eagles Nest News for all the drama, updates, and hype all season long. Tyreek Hill confirming his arrival to the Eagles has set off a shockwave that feels less like regular NFL chatter and more like the kind of rumor that grabs the internet by the throat and refuses to let go. The moment the whispers leaked, every fan base froze mid-scroll, because this isn't the kind of move that gently nudges the league narrative. It blows the door open with the force of a highlight reel sprint. You can almost picture Eagles fans bursting into group chats, half celebrating, half refusing to believe it until they see him holding up the jersey. And of course, the speculation machine went into overdrive. What does this mean for the chemistry of the locker room? How does an offense already known for explosive potential absorb the fastest man in football? And what kind of fireworks are coaches secretly sketching on whiteboards behind closed doors? No one has answers yet, but everyone has theories, and that's exactly why this story has become the hottest talking point. Because Tyreek doesn't just join a team, he shifts the atmosphere, upgrades expectations, and forces the entire league to recalibrate its plans. And now, apparently, that storm has landed in Philadelphia. As soon as the buzz started gaining momentum, people began dissecting every possible angle of Tyreek's fit in the Eagles system, because even the hint of him in midnight green opens up storyline after storyline. Fans are imagining deep shots that stretch the field so far it practically bends the defense backward, imagining defensive coordinators waking up in cold sweats, picturing Tyreek streaking past their best corner like he's running a track event. There's this sense that the entire offensive identity could evolve overnight, not in a chaotic way, but in that carefully orchestrated way the Eagles' front office loves to execute. Quiet planning, sudden thunderclap. And the rumor feels even more electrifying because it isn't some vague, maybe this could happen scenario. Tyreek confirmed he's arriving, and that tiny bit of confirmation injected enough adrenaline into the fan base to power half the city. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, there's no denying the narrative potential here. The Eagles thrive on proving people wrong, and Tyreek thrives on making doubters look slow. If this pairing becomes real on the field, we might be looking at the beginning of something that doesn't just change a season, but changes the way defenses are forced to play for years. Right now, the chatter around Philly is a mix of hype, disbelief, and that classic "is this actually happening?" energy that only shows up when a superstar announces a move no one expected to materialize this quickly. People are already speculating about the relationship Tyreek might build with the quarterback room, imagining those perfectly timed routes that look rehearsed even when they're improvised, or those broken plays where Tyreek suddenly unlocks chaos and somehow turns it into a touchdown. There's this idea floating around that the Eagles' offense might become borderline unfair if everything clicks, the kind of unit that racks up mismatches like they're collecting trophies. And of course, with big moves come big opinions. Some fans are convinced this is the missing piece. Others argue the team is shifting too aggressively. But everyone is talking about it, because Tyreek is one of those rare players who changes the conversation by simply existing in the rumor cycle. Every clip of him training is now being reanalyzed like game tape. Every old interview is resurfacing as if it holds secret hints, and every little detail is being turned into a storyline. That's the power of a name like his landing in Philadelphia. Inside league circles, or at least in the whispered corners of online forums pretending to be league circles, the theories are flying. People are imagining how opposing defenses will adjust, how many double teams will get burned anyway, and whether the Eagles can design an offensive scheme so bold that it forces the rest of the NFL into catch-up mode. There's already talk about how the locker room's competitive fire might ignite even brighter with someone like Tyreek stepping in, because he brings that mentality that pushes everyone to play just a little faster, a little sharper, a little hungrier. And the psychological ripple effect is real. When a superstar arrives, even in rumor form, it elevates expectations instantly. Suddenly, every player is being asked, out loud or silently, whether they're ready for the kind of spotlight that comes with a move like this. You can almost imagine veterans nodding knowingly, young guys trying to absorb the moment, and coaches layering new plays into the playbook like puzzle pieces. Whether or not this ends up reshaping the entire franchise identity, the anticipation alone has already shifted the vibe around Philly. From a narrative standpoint, this rumor is cinematic. Picture it. A superstar known for impossible speed arriving in a city known for impossible passion. A fan base that lives for intensity, welcoming a player who thrives in chaos. A franchise that refuses to settle, bringing in someone who never stops chasing the next big moment. Even people outside Philly are watching this unfold like it's an NFL blockbuster trailer. Rival fan bases are calculating, commentators are theorizing, and analysts are trying to figure out how this could impact the balance of power. And the thing is, this doesn't feel like one of those off-season distractions that flare up and fade away. It feels like something that could transform highlight reels into viral sensations every week, the kind of pairing that sparks endless debates about ceilings, potential, and legacy. Whether the league is ready or not, that energy is building, and the idea of TYREEK stepping into the Eagles system is generating the kind of buzz that doesn't just trend, it resonates. It gets people arguing, dreaming, panicking, celebrating, and refreshing their feeds for the next update in this unfolding saga. And the wildest part is how quickly all of this escalated. One moment, the NFL feels static, predictable, business as usual. The next, TYREEK confirms his arrival, and instantly the narrative landscape flips upside down. Suddenly, every sports talk show is preparing hot takes. Social media is erupting into theories, and fans are debating roster moves like they're front office insiders. But beyond the noise, there's something genuinely intriguing about imagining TYREEK in that Eagles uniform, taking routes that turn corners inside out, creating separation that looks physically impossible, and bringing a level of explosiveness that reshapes not just games, but momentum itself. And maybe that's why this rumor feels so massive, because it taps into the imagination. It gives the league a new storyline, gives fans a new dream, and gives the Eagles a new aura of unpredictability. Whether it becomes legend or just legendary chatter, one thing is certain. TYREEK's arrival has already become one of the most captivating talking points of this season's entire conversation. The second wave of buzz around Tyreek Hill's arrival to the Eagles is hitting even harder than the initial shock, because now people aren't just reacting, they're imagining. They're letting their minds run wild with every possibility, every angle, every scenario that might unfold once TYREEK walks into that facility wearing those colors. It's the kind of rumor phase where fans start translating excitement into expectation and expectation into something close to prophecy. Philly is a city that feeds off momentum, and right now, that momentum feels like a tidal wave. You can almost hear the chatter echoing from barbershops to podcasts, from comment sections to locker rooms, creating this living, breathing anticipation that no one can quite control. The idea of TYREEK lining up next to established stars adds an extra flair to the fantasy, because suddenly the offense doesn't just look dangerous, it looks uncontainable. And even though nothing has been played out on the field yet, the narrative storm is already building into something that feels bigger than just a personnel move. It feels like an evolution, a moment where a franchise known for grit suddenly becomes known for both grit and blazing speed. What's wild is how many layers this rumor keeps revealing. Each day, new theories emerge about how coaches might redesign the offensive identity around TYREEK's skill set, not by replacing what already works, but by amplifying it far beyond its current limits. Fans are imagining motion-heavy formations that stretch the defense horizontally before TYREEK stretches it vertically, creating this multi-dimensional attack that forces defenders into impossible decisions. And the thought of him being paired with a quarterback capable of deep accuracy has sparked a whole new level of conversation. People are talking about timing, about rhythm, about the psychological edge of knowing at any moment the offense could explode into a play that flips the field in seconds. Even rivals have begun whispering about what their defenses would need to adjust, because preparing for the Eagles has always been tough. But preparing for the Eagles with TYREEK Hill is another universe entirely. And that's the beauty of this rumor. It greets every question with 10 more, every possibility with 10 bigger ones. Inside Philly, you get the sense that even players are feeling the tremor of excitement, the kind that doesn't disrupt focus but refines it. When a superstar like TYREEK arrives, it raises the competitive atmosphere naturally, not through pressure, but through inspiration. Younger players start imagining what they can learn from him, veterans imagine how he might elevate the entire offensive unit, and coaches imagine what new doors might open strategically. And that's why this rumor has become so magnetic. It isn't about hype for the sake of hype. It's about the transformation that seems possible. TYREEK is known not just for speed, but for altering the geometry of the field, for forcing defenses to cheat, for turning coverage schemes into puzzles no one can quite solve in time. And in a city that loves bold plays and fearless energy, his arrival fits like a narrative puzzle piece that no one realized was missing until now. The anticipation isn't blind. It's calculated, almost instinctual, because everyone senses that if this move pans out, the Eagles could enter a new offensive era. And naturally, with a move this massive, the conversation has spilled beyond football purists into wider culture. Content creators are reacting in long videos. Fans are stitching clips. People are editing TYREEK into Eagles highlights that don't even exist, yet just to visualize the chaos. The rumor has turned into a cultural moment, the kind that moves from sports pages into group chats full of people who don't even follow football closely but understand the magnitude of a superstar changing teams. And through it all, Philly fans are soaking in every second, balancing excitement with that trademark city edge that says, we'll celebrate when it's real, but right now, we're enjoying the noise. Commentators have started to call this the new era of player movement narratives, because it blurs the line between confirmed information and a story that grows legs of its own. TYREEK's words confirming his arrival were the spark, but the blaze that followed is being fed by a fan base that thrives on intensity. This rumor hasn't just become a headline. It has become a spectacle. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. As the rumor grows, so does the sense of unpredictability. People can't quite tell whether this move is designed to shock the league, elevate the offense, or reshape the franchise's long-term vision. And that uncertainty makes everything even more dramatic. You hear fans talking about how the locker room might react, about how leadership groups might shift, about whether this move signals an aggressive front office philosophy that aims to dominate the league now rather than build slowly. And all those debates feed into the larger narrative storm swirling around the Eagles. What's interesting is how natural this moment feels for TYREEK himself. He's always thrived in big stages, high-pressure environments, and situations where expectations sit sky-high. So the idea of him stepping into Philly, a city where every cheer is loud and every critique is louder, feels like a storyline ripped from a sports documentary. And after confirming his arrival, the energy around him has only intensified, turning speculation into a kind of collective imagination that no one wants to end. At this point, the rumor has evolved into something that feels larger than any individual opinion. It has become part of the pulse of the league, a storyline that refuses to fade, a moment that fans and analysts keep circling back to because it feels like the beginning of something transformative. TYREEK Hill arriving to the Eagles doesn't just sound like a roster move. It sounds like a shift in tone, in energy, in possibility. And the best part? Everything still feels unwritten. The plays haven't been drawn, the chemistry hasn't been tested, the highlights haven't been created. All that exists right now is anticipation, the kind so electric that it feels like the entire city is holding its breath. Whatever comes next, whether it unfolds exactly as imagined or takes on a life of its own, this rumor has already cemented itself as one of the most captivating storylines in recent memory. It's the kind of narrative that reminds fans why they love this sport, because sometimes the rumors themselves are an experience. At the heart of everything is one undeniable truth. Barkley meant what he said. It wasn't a joke, it wasn't an exaggeration, and it definitely wasn't accidental. He sent a message with full awareness of the consequences, knowing the world would dissect it piece by piece. When a player of his caliber speaks with that kind of force, you listen, not because he's trying to create drama, but because his words carry weight earned through years of discipline, performance, and leadership. The Eagles now find themselves standing at a crossroads, where every decision has the potential to either stabilize the situation or ignite something much bigger. Fans are waiting, analysts are waiting, even rival teams are waiting, watching closely to see what happens next. And until the truth comes out, until the name behind he is confirmed, this rumor will continue to grow like a shadow, stretching longer and darker across the horizon. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.